All right, what's up guys? So we are in the process of making a taco recipe video thing, but we wanted to show you in a separate video if you were interested in making homemade guac or pico. And obviously if you're making tacos as like a quick and easy recipe, this isn't super quick and easy, so we want to make it separate. Yeah.
This would not take you very long.
No, I know, but I'm saying
the most extensive part is the chopping, especially for the way that I'm doing it.
It's not hard, it's just a little more time consuming than if you just bought store. So pico first or?
Pico first. Pico typically you want to make it and then let it like sit together for a few hours in the fridge. We aren't going to do that. We're not going to let it sit for a few hours just because it's almost dinner time and we're just going on the fly. And if you want to eat it right away, you can eat it right away. But it tends to just, it tastes better. Like the flavors, they blend and it just settles well.
So ingredients for pico.
So ingredients for pico, we're using grape tomatoes. I like them because I think the grape tomatoes are more flavorful. I've actually never used these I've never used these grape tomatoes, but they just look so red and juicy and flavorful that I wanted to use these because that's the main thing, is just fresh, tasty produce is what ends up making your pico really good.
So we also have jalapeno.
Jalapeno, garlic, lime, onion,
Cilantro.
and then cilantro. Then we'll be putting in salt and these two. We'll put some cumin in here.
Pico?
A little.
Okay.
I like it. You don't have to if you don't want to. I like it in pico, just because I really like that flavor. First thing we're gonna do is wash all of our produce. Typically, we try to always get organic produce. So you want to make sure you wash everything decently. These are a little bit hard to wash. What I was trying to say earlier, what I was getting to earlier, is that most people use like aroma / plum tomato. I think they're the same tomato. They look pretty similar, but I'm gonna use these, like I said, because of the flavor. Obviously, I mean, we like to preface it by saying I don't specifically measure anything. So I don't have a set pico recipe or guac recipe. I know what ingredients I like to go into it, and then I just work to find a balance that like satisfies. So I'm going to use all these tomatoes. I'm going to use half this onion. I'm going to use half this lime to start and maybe more. Sometimes I like a little bit more lime, but I'll taste test halfway through. So I'll go half a lime and then I'll taste test. I'm going to use a clove of garlic. Some people really love garlic. My little sister Maria really likes garlic, so sometimes I'll do extra garlic for her, or like my aunt really likes garlic, one of my aunts. And then I'm gonna use half a jalapeno as well. And I'm gonna seed it. If you like it spicier, you can leave the seeds in, but Christina is not a fan of spicy at all. I love it, but we will make it.
I just can't do it physically.
It's okay. And cilantro wise, dude, cilantro is one thing, like I never thought of measuring cilantro, but I love cilantro. We'll probably use a tablespoon.
Ooh, that sun. Ooh, it's going right through the closet window in my eyes.
Oh, if I was that short, I could experience that. I'm not.
Do I look like I'm glowing? Probably not.
You're a fucking angel.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's not like a huge priority to buy organic. Typically, tomatoes are one that you do want to buy organic. Anything where you eat the skin, just because of pesticides, conventional, and GMOs aren't bad for you. Trust science, blah, blah, blah. Look, dude, come from a family of farmers, and I don't give a fuck that Bill Nye says that GMOs are good for you. If they're so good for you, then why are companies pushing so hard to not have GMOs labeled? You know what I mean? Just little things like that. Like if it's fine, then wave that flag proudly.
Oh, you mean like if they do have GMOs?
Yes, like they try to hide that there's GMOs in things.
Right.
Like if you look on the back of a lot of things, so it will say.
Well, they hide like.
Look on the ingredients and it will say, especially like processed foods, it'll say genetically modified. on the back, or it has like some type of genetically modified ingredient in there.
All right, back to our salsa.
Back to the salsa. Sorry about the rant, but
I'm eating a monk pack.
so good, so good, so moist and flavorful, and they do a really good job.
Yeah.
Monk pack.
Soy-free, gluten-free, plant-based.
Okay. It's actually a decent amount of tomatoes, just I'm actually gonna cut the onion and everything else, and then if I feel like I need more tomato, I'll go cut more tomato. But right now we have 12 ounces of tomato, grape tomatoes in here. Onion.
Make it look so easy. I would be bawling my eyes out right now. And still not done chopping.
I'm still not immune to the onions and still cry occasionally.
Do you?
Actually, yeah, I do. Actually, I think this 12 ounces is gonna be enough. I really, really overdid it. I overshot it big time. Like, I literally was at the store and I was like, I'd rather have more than less, which is a solid policy when it comes to cooking, because it sucks to have to run back to the store, but this is fucking overkill. I overdid it on this one. Be careful when you chop like hot peppers, because the oils will get onto your hand and you won't realize it, and then you'll touch your face, your eye, and it hurts so fucking bad. Half a jalapeno. Like I said earlier, if you want it spicier, you can, add the seeds in. Christina doesn't like spicy, so I'm gonna put this off to the side and I'm gonna scoop the seeds out. Next, we're gonna go garlic. So now the last thing we're gonna add is cilantro. A lot of people will peel, or not peel, but like pick the cilantro leaves off. I typically don't. So let's measure. Would call that 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. So we're gonna go with 2 tablespoons officially. Christina likes a little bit more, so it's about 2.5. It's about 2.5. I'm like a roll the citrus type person. Like when you roll it a little bit, it helps you get more juice. I don't know if it's taboo, it's just what I do and it seems to have worked.
A few things I know about cooking.
So far, she knows more than she's letting on. She does a really good job. We're gonna go half. We do have a little juicer for citrus, but a lot of people don't, so we're just gonna go hand squeezed. You can do that, it's no problem. Some people like to do like a fork method. Some people do this. I've seen a decent amount, and you just kind of like grate it against, and you can see a decent amount of juice is falling after I juiced it almost to capacity with my hand strength. Salt wise, let's just start with something small and adjust accordingly. So we're gonna go half a teaspoon to start. It's probably not gonna be enough. Yeah, that's true, so just be cautious. I'd put less when you're doing something like this and then add more as needed. Cumin, we're gonna go 1/4 teaspoon. Right, 1/4 teaspoon. This is what we're working with pre-mixed, right?
Cilantro or tomato, onion, cumin, garlic, and jalapeno, right?
Yep.
Got it.
So that's mixed up, just like a super simple, fresh cilantro. So then I'll just do a quick taste test. It really is gonna taste different in an hour or so, 2 hours. Normally I'd I'd let it sit in the fridge for like 2 to 3 hours, cover it up. I'm just gonna taste it now to see if there's like enough salt and you know, if I like the flavor. And that's just a big part of this, is just constantly tasting and adjusting based on your personal preferences.
This is my job.
It's your job. Those tomatoes are really, really sweet and flavorful. So it's pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those tomatoes, it's really all about the produce. The tomatoes are really sweet and flavorful, and they make the dish, and then the cilantro is delicious. The cumin adds a nice flavor to it, and that actually ended up being like a perfect amount of salt for right now. So we're gonna set the pico to the side. So now we're gonna make the guac, and we're gonna use, I don't know, how much guac do you want?
All of it. How many are in there?
I'm just gonna constantly say this all the time, but we don't typically measure
They get it.
anything. So we don't even know how many, like,
but
I'm not even sure how many avocados I normally use.
well, usually you're making it for a lot of people, but
That's true.
And it's hard to make, like, you can't really save it as extra because it gets super brown.
It does get brown, but
Quick.
it helps, if a tip to help it not brown as much.
Pit.
Huh?
Pit.
Yeah, some people will do the pit.
Pit of the avocado.
I don't know if
in
it's the
guac.
pit or the onion more, but if you put half an onion in with it, it won't brown as fast. So we're gonna go with 4 avocados.
That looks like a beautiful little avocado to me.
It's not, I
Fine.
promise.
John says no, but look. Pretty.
It's not, and you can typically, I mean, I don't love these avocados, but it's fine. We'll make it work. You'll find better avocados than us. Be more patient. So the first thing I'm gonna start with is, I'm just gonna scoop. All right, these are harder avocados. Typically with avocado, I would just use a fork, because normally I'll only make guac if the avocados are perfect. I'm that kind of person, but we wanted to get this done, or we want guacamole, so we'll make do. So yeah, these are pretty hard. Smashed up pretty nice. We're gonna go onion next. So 1/4 onion. I'm gonna throw the onion in there. Like I said, I don't like a ton of onion. Next, we're gonna go with the tomatoes. We washed these earlier. Christina has better things to do, so she's checking her watch. Like, fuck, get this shit over with.
I'm so hungry.
This is taking a decent amount of time just because we're talking and breaking everything down. Normally it would go a lot quicker than this.
Yeah. Pre-mixed guacamole.